Say hello.
Since college, we were both working at Pizza Hut. I don't see no reason anyone would want to hurt him.
Tybins is looking for her husband, Lopaz Richardson. It was early July 2021 when he was last seen around midnight in Rosenberg, Texas, and it was soon clear something was wrong.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was out looking on the ground with some of his family and my best friend, just searching all downtown in the Rosenberg area. We even went to the area where they found his truck abandoned.
The pickup was located 5 hours away in the woods near train tracks of a small town that Lopez had no known ties to.
Initially, they told us that there was nothing in his vehicle. I didn't find out till some 35 days later that there were, in fact, some things in his vehicle, like his wallet. They also found his shoes stuck in the mud.
But when she went to see the truck for herself, she says she found Lopez's cell phone.
Majority of everything had been deleted.
Deleted? Was that suspicious to you?
Very.
Do you think he would have done that?
No.
It wasn't the only thing she found that appeared to have been scrubbed.
Memory cards, his GoPro camera, another digital camera, all the memory cards and everything wiped clean, nothing on them.
Has he ever had any episodes of that type of behavior before?
Never, never. He had just opened a new business and he was doing well. It would be no reason to me that I could see that he would walk away from his life at this point.
What kind of business?
A tattoo shop. That was his dream. Yes, he loved art.
She suspects that someone stole Lopez's dream and life from him.
Before he went missing, he was calling me and he said that someone was out to get him.
He told her he'd disrespected the wrong person and wasn't going to get a chance to apologize. She has her theory as to who it was, but is still trying to find evidence.
It's been almost 10 months now, so now I focus on, just being stronger and trying to be strong for my children.
What do they know about this?
They do know that, he's still lost, basically, is what I tell them, because I try to give them hope.
Do you have hope?
I have hope. A lot of that hope has died. He hung around a big circle. He was a part of a motorcycle club. And I feel that someone knows something. It's kind of hard for someone just to disappear and not know. No one know what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Missing Live, the latest episode of the show where we are featuring stories through a partnership with the Texas Center for the Missing of people who are missing in the state of Texas and in the Houston area. There are thousands of people missing in the Houston area any given day and tens of thousands of missing person reports filed across the state of Texas every year. So our series features some of those stories, lets you go inside these cases so that you can ask questions. And if you're joining us, you are welcome to use the comments section. If you're watching on the Fox 26 Flux Facebook page. Put your questions in the comments because we are going to be joined now by the wife of Lopaz Richardson, who has been looking for him since last summer. Now, for her safety, she has asked that we not use her name, which we fully agreed to because we don't want to put any of the people and any of the families in danger as we try to support their efforts to find their loved ones. So we will be coming up with a code name. I don't know. What do you think? Can I call you? Let's go with Sarah. Let's go with the Sarah. Okay, so first of all, welcome. Thank you for being with us. And I know that this is one of the first times that you've gone so public with your story. Your coworkers didn't even know that your husband was missing until they saw this story, or many of them anyway, didn't know until they saw the story on air. What has it been like since we aired the story on Monday and it became one of the top items on our website?
I have had a lot of support at work. People texting me, letting me know that they've seen it. So it's, you know, it's good to have some positive people on my end.
And there's a lot of positive people in the comments. You're getting a lot of prayers in here. And we already have some questions coming in for you. So let's go ahead and get started. George is one of our regulars, one of our 26 sleuths, Fox 26 sleuths. He wants to know, besides the family, has anyone else been questioned in this case by police?
Not to my knowledge, besides the family. The people that I felt that should have been questioned, I was told by the detective that he could not make them come and talk to them, even though they were some of the last people besides myself to see him.
So does that mean the police reached out to them and asked them to come in?
I don't think that he did, but I don't think so.
And often police don't communicate much, unfortunately, with the families. We know they handle a lot of cases, that we know, but it's such a frustration. A lot of people in the comments frustrated for you too. This is a long time to go without having answers. So Kara has a question about one of the items that I agree was one of the most mysterious aspects of this case is that you found his shoes. And I'm looking over here to find some pictures because you have a great Facebook page with a lot of information for people who want to check it out. But take a look, folks. You can see the picture of the shoes that were found in the mud. So talk about the shoes, talk about the discovery of the shoes, because that didn't happen initially when they found the truck.
No, and the thing about that is it kind of makes me angry because I asked questions when the truck was found. I reported him missing on the 8th. His truck was found, I think, on the 9th. The detective on the case let me know on about the 13th that they had found his truck. This was July 13th. It wasn't until about August that they found his wallet in his truck, as well as those shoes stuck in the mud.
So either they overlooked them, didn't look, or was there any sense that someone maybe visited the truck since it was initially looked at by police?
I feel like if they had actually searched the truck, it's no way they would not have found those items. What made them go back out there to the truck was that I had some concerns about people going out there, possibly tampering or doing something. And I spoke with one of the deputies from Grayson County. And she told me, oh, well, we already checked. There's nothing anyone can go and plan or do anything. She told me that they had already searched. So it would not have been a possibility for anyone to go out there and place anything out there. So either you guys didn't look or,
Yeah, that's the part of this that's really confusing to me. The other part is the cell phone. We have a question from Slim Thick, another one of our regular Fox 26 sleuths joining us here on the Missing Live, asking about the cell phone. So you told me that initially police did not find the cell phone in the car and that you found the cell phone when you went to look at the vehicle?
Yes, myself and my best friend went out to the truck when they finally removed the truck from the wooded area. That was that 35 days later. And so I was able, the record yard, they let me go and retrieve some of his things. And one of the gentlemen was kind enough to put one of his bags into the office because it had electronics in there, like his laptop and things like that. So I found that phone inside of his truck with some of the things that I gathered. And this phone he had multiple phones, but this was the only phone that was found in that truck. and it didn't have anything that was of use. Everything seemed to have been deleted, or it was deleted.
And you said that other items had been deleted as well, his GoPro camera, some of his memory cards. Were those in the truck, or did you find that out later when you went through his things?
Those were, I think those were bagged into evidence in August when they found the wallet, because they had the digital camera, the GoPro camera, the memory cards, if I'm not mistaken. I think they had those, but it was nothing on them at all. They were wiped clean.
And you're getting a lot of prayers in the comments. Let me tell you, people asking. So Kara, again, asking about the footprints, was just showing y'all. And let me pull it back up. Here's where the truck was found. Here's how the truck was found. Not just abandoned, but driven off the road. I mean, clearly discarded. And you can see here, if you look at the circle, there's where the shoes were. Were there footprints?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We were when we went out to the area to search with EcuSearch, they would not tell us, the department that was handling and collecting the evidence. They would not tell us where they had located those shoes or anything like that. But he had major reconstructive surgery to his ankle, and the positioning of the shoes, as I mentioned on my support page, it's no way he could have walked in that type of terrain, and it's just no way possible.
Yeah, you mentioned that on your support page. You have a picture here showing that he had, that he just wouldn't have been able to handle it. And obviously we saw from the pictures that terrain was rough. Here's another picture of the trucks. People can see just how buried it was. It feels intentional. Obviously we don't know at this point, but more questions. George coming back in, asking about the 35 days. Did police ever explain the 35 days that it took them to get back to you?
The truck was initially found on the 9th. It was not 35 days later. They told me that they could not remove the truck because something about the railroad company wouldn't allow them to move the truck.
Okay, so they had a delay there in terms of their ability to access it, perhaps?
Yes, but they said that they had checked the truck. Things that I asked about that could have been in the truck, they told me weren't there. But from when the truck was moved to the record location, that was when I learned that, hey, all these things I asked about, they were in the truck. So that's what made me question, like, was this treated as just like an abandoned vehicle? Did they actually search the vehicle?
Right. And it was found right on the train tracks. Tell people, what was the area of Texas where it was found? Because I know it was near the Oklahoma border. What was the town or the area? Because you said he had no ties to that area.
None at all. I'm not sure. It's called Howe. That's what it's Howe, but it's like close to another town called Sherman. So I guess Howe.
Up in that area.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have a couple more questions coming in. We have a question that we often get this on the Missing Live, asking about the phone records. I know you obtained the phone. Were you able to get much information? Were you able to log in? See, you said everything was wiped, but was there any history that you could access through his cell phone provider?
From the beginning, when I asked the detective in Rosenberg about that, he just kept telling me, I need to get a subpoena. I need to get a subpoena. He didn't get a subpoena for the records until I think about September. And that was just for the one phone. When I had spoke to him, I asked him if he was going to get the subpoena for both phones, but he only got it for one. And the one that he got it for was for the phone that he had recently changed numbers. So the phone he had for years that was found in his truck, he never got those subpoenaed. And I recently reached out to him about that, and he had told me I would have to read it from my email.
Now, and were you on the same cell phone plan as him or no?
No.
So you wouldn't have had the ability to contact the cell phone company directly?
No, not at all.
Okay. What about, I know we have a question here from Cynthia saying they didn't notice him not at work, but you had mentioned that he had his own business. He had actually recently opened his business.
Yes, he worked for himself. He had just opened up a tattoo shop. This was his dream business, something I know, like I said, he wouldn't have walked away from that at all. He had invested too much money in it. He had got flooring done. He had bought new toiletry, sinks, all of that, and he was fixing it up. I mean, I wish I had shared the pictures with you. It was like, it was so him. If you know him, it was so him. If you had just saw how it was decorated, it was so him. Because I always look at, I call him, I say, you're such a weirdo. He liked weird things.
And you and him had been together since college. You said you guys met working together in college. So you've known him a really, really long time. So you have suspicions, you've told me, about what's going on, but you don't want to say too much because you're still sort of investigating on your own. And I know that you've got a search party that's going to be going out, or at least you're looking at a certain area. But we have a question from Cynthia about the area where that truck was found as to any cameras. Are there any cameras, any businesses in the town that had any cameras that might have caught the truck coming and going, or people coming and going from the woods?
I asked the detective, would it be possible to get, see that? Because oftentimes, like even in the movies and stuff, you see where they're able to go back and look at the cameras from the traffic and everything. I'm not really sure. When I went out with EquiSearch, we did pass by buildings. It was actually, I think, a police training academy, if I'm not mistaken. And we did see on the side of the building some cameras. Now, whether or not they worked or not, I don't know, because it could have just been to deter crime or something like that. So I'm not sure how to go about that.
All right, let's see here. We've got a lot of prayers coming in for you. A lot of people praying that he's found safe. You are holding out that hope as well. I know your family's holding out hope. How are your kids doing?
They're doing okay. Actually, last weekend, my sister was over and we were having a little gathering, and she said, what's wrong? Asking what was wrong with my oldest daughter. I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's not anything. It shouldn't be anything wrong, because she was just playing on the trampoline and jumping and having a good time. And she went from that to laying down on the trampoline outside in tears. And so I went to console her and I asked her what was wrong. And it was one of those moments where she was thinking about her dad. And it's, all I can tell her is, I'm going to find them. I'm going to find them. Even like with this, she was so happy to see me on the news and to see his story. And, I don't ever want to take that hope from her at all. I don't ever want to take it from her.
That's one of the things that stood out to me the most when we sat and talked together. You are so strong, so stoic. And then once I learned about your family and the strength that you're demonstrating for them, it became so clear. You and I spent, half an hour chatting after, just continuing to talk about this case. I mean, I was just fascinated. I have a question from Slim Thick again, asking if you've gotten a private investigator involved in the case.
I tried to do a GoFundMe to raise money for a private investigator. I mean, it didn't get much, so I left it alone. I still would like to, in the future, possibly go down that avenue. I did, however, speak to a private investigator, and he told me the lengths and all the things that I had already found out. It probably wouldn't be much more that he could uncover for me. And he told me that he charged like $10,000, and he told me that at minimum he could charge me $3,000 because I had found out so much.
So you've done a lot of the legwork already, which you very much have. And I know that you have a lot of information that you can't even necessarily share right now because you don't want to compromise some of the leads that you have, though you're still looking for leads. We have a question here. Why don't you have a search party? Talking about most bodies are found 5 miles. You have gone out with search parties. You've gone out with Texas EquiSearch. You've got another search party. Are you looking for volunteers? Or is Texas EquiSearch helping you out?
Texas EquiSearch is helping me out. We did do the big search back in September where his vehicle was found. They went out with cadaver dogs and, the whole nine. And we didn't turn up anything. I was out there myself along with my sister-in-law, my best friend. We were out there. So nothing turned up. They didn't get any hits with the cadaver dogs. But you still have to remember, he went missing in July. His truck was found in July. This is all the way September. So you got to think about the elements out there, anything, if someone has done something to him, like I believe they could have possibly went out there and moved things around, just like with his truck, that's the thing about it.
A couple of people asking about fingerprints on the electronics and the devices found in the vehicle. Did law enforcement ever take a look at that?
again, the trucks found in July. These things were gathered in August. So
So they
if you had been to
suggested
the
that it
truck,
wouldn't have worked by then?
I'm not sure. They didn't even mention about trying to get fingerprints, but I would assume in the beginning, if you searched the truck as you said you had, you would have collected fingerprints and everything else early on. Like 35
Right.
days later, like I said, humidity, the elements, like that truck, it had ants. It was just bad.
And
But
we've reached out, Fox 26 reached out several times to Rosenberg police to see if they wanted to give us an update on the case, what they know, what they're looking for, what people can do to help. We haven't heard back. We'll continue to reach out to them. Our goal is to help them by getting so many of us involved in trying to figure this out. But just so much love coming in for you. So I know you searched the area where the truck was found. You've reached out to his friends. I mean, look at the number of people coming in praying for you here, trying to support you. So for people who want to get involved in helping you out, because this is some of the cases that we feature on this show have been, someone's been missing for years, but it hasn't even been a full year yet. So this is still very active. If anyone wants to get involved in helping you, how can they do that?
I recently got a PO box for anonymous tips. I saw that on a previous story that aired on the show. I got a PO box that maybe if someone does know something, maybe they can write a letter or send it anonymously. Of course, you do have those other numbers where you can submit anonymous tips. Prayers, most definitely. And you can reach out on the support page if there's anything else that you think you could do or help with it. I'm open to it.
And you do have a Facebook page, as we've shown, where people can go to learn more about what you're doing. You and your family have been so strong together, trying to be strong for you, for him. And here's the Facebook page, which we are going to add a link to on our story on fox26houston.com. Again, this was one of the most shared, most watched, most visited stories on our website this week. So we've gotten a lot of eyes. We're so grateful to everyone who's been sharing this. One of the best ways that y'all can help is by sharing this. We have another question coming in. Did he have a Facebook account? Were you able to access any social media, email accounts, or any accounts that he had?
He did have social media.
Were you able to access anything yet?
Not
really.
No.
Okay. And so let's see here. Any more questions? We're going to wrap up soon. But a lot of people encouraging you to go for that private investigator, perhaps revive, now that we've gotten a lot of people involved here, revive that GoFundMe, see if people can help out. If y'all want to help, make sure you're going, again, to our website where you can find a link to her Facebook page where you can follow the story. Did he have, one more question, Slim Thick. Slim Thick's going to solve these cases, I swear. She wants to know whether there's any close friends who had any information, or has everyone basically been spoken to? Is there anyone holding out at this point?
He was a part of a motorcycle club. They weren't actively involved in any searches or anything like that. I've questioned them and talked to them about anything they might know. They basically not been any help, but I feel like they know something. Somebody knows something. These were people he called his brothers, and I've been doing my little research on motorcycle clubs and things like that, and it's.
Well, and that leads me to this question about who did he disrespect? When I asked you that question during our interview, you sort of paused and you said, you're not really wanting to put that much out there in that sense because you, have leads and you don't want to tip anything off. But also, I know for your safety and the safety of your family, you're not trying to name specific people in the public sphere.
Exactly, because I don't know. I can speculate all day, but that's me speculating. And if I say, oh, I think this person was involved, that person, then I don't know what happened, what situation where he would have respected someone, but at the end of the day, that didn't warrant him losing his life.
No. No. So those of you asking some of the specific questions, and our partners, the Texas Center for the Missing, are here watching as well. Those of you who have specific questions, again, you can go to the Facebook page. You can go to our website to get to the Facebook page, and you can reach out directly. She's more than happy, I'm sure, to speak with people on a private level if you're interested in getting involved. And of course, if this inspires you, make sure you reach out to Texas EquiSearch. Make sure you look up the Texas Center for the Missing. They're always looking for volunteers and support. I know you said the Texas Center for the Missing has connected you with other families that have been a really big support group, because it's just so hard for and most of us to understand what you're going through. I mean, we appreciate that what you're going through, but can never understand it till we're living it.
At all. Yes, the Texas Center of the Missing has been so good to me. Even EquiSearch, Evans Hope, that's another organization that have reached out to me, and they've been helping me as well. Like, I've had a lot of support, and I've gained a lot of knowledge. And of course, Fox 26, y'all, for even doing this piece and helping to get my husband's story out there,
Well, it has been an honor to support you. You've been an incredible individual, and working for Lopaz, working for your family to try to get answers. So it's, least we can do is try to use our platform to get his name out there. And for those of you who are watching who maybe have a family member who's missing, make sure you reach out to the Texas Center for the Missing. They are our partners. They're the ones connecting us with families. So please, we're happy to help as many families as we're physically able to do. And I appreciate all of you who've been loyal followers of this series and supporters, our Fox 26 sleuths, I like to call all of you. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for opening up. I know it's never easy to relive your trauma, but it means the world to us that you trust us to be on your team and to help you out. And I appreciate all of you who tuned in. This video will live forever on our Fox 26 YouTube page. If you want to share it with someone who you think might be able to help, might live in the area, or might have known Lopaz and seen him. And I just want to thank all of you for the love that you're sharing, and those of you praying. We'll continue to share these stories, and we'll be continuing to think about you. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening, and we will see you hopefully next week with another episode of The Missing Live and another family that we can all wrap our arms around. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.